Hey, what's good, everyone? Welcome back to the Next Block, episode 105. We have a nice show today with a guest about to be on stage in a moment. How you doing, Crypto for Change?
Doing good, doing good. Another great day by the beach, just living it up, trying to weather the Bitcoin,
Storm?
craziness we got. Yeah, the storm we got brewing right now. See where we're gonna be in the next couple of weeks. But excited to talk to Abdul. Excited to see what Gora Network has got going on with their new move to branching over to Ethereum, and see and hear from Abdul himself on what their plan is there. So I know there's a lot of people in the Algorand community excited to hear. Obviously, the price of Gora has been doing amazing the
Oh,
past 6 to 8
Gora been
months.
doing
So
it.
I know, right? I've been loving my staked Gora and seeing those rewards come in. So excited to talk about them and see what they got cooking.
Yes, yes. So without further ado, Abdul, welcome to the show. How you doing, Abdul?
Hey guys, thanks for having me. How's everybody doing?
Doing good, doing good.
Good,
And
good,
and we
yeah.
and just to let everybody obviously know, we don't Abdul's got his children there with him, but he is still going to be rocking with us. So hope you don't mind some child noise in the background. We obviously don't. I have a kid myself, so I totally understand, and I'm still thankful that Abdul chose to come on today. So let's hop right into it and just dive right into your all's Ethereum EVM launch there with the Gora token, and kind of what that all looks like. Kind of give us a high level view on your all's plans there.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we've been in Algorand for pretty much 2 years now. It's sort of our bread and butter, and where we started our growth from. But ultimately, we want to connect networks. As an Oracle, we can read from any chain. Being able to export to another chain, though, requires us to be on that chain. So we're gonna, start off by being this kind of a bridge between Ethereum and Algorand. Algorand has a lot of institutional people building on it, so we got to talk to a lot of enterprises, things people just don't see about people building on Algorand. Whereas Ethereum, you have a lot of DeFi. It's like the birth of DeFi, so a lot of mature liquidity. So we really hope not just we can do a lot of biz dev on Ethereum, but also hopefully bring some of that liquidity over to Algorand.
And one thing that I think maybe I would be curious to know is, like, with your all's website and the ability to stake Gora on there. I'm assuming that you'll also now be able to stake the Gora, that's the ERC version of Gora, correct?
Yeah, so our consensus is our node network is still going to happen on Algorand. So if you have the ERC20 token, you can either stake it at your Ethereum, and on the back end, what we're really doing is exchanging it, bridging it over to Algorand, then staking it on Algorand, or you could just bridge it right over to Algorand. And then there's no lock period. So a lot of our core tech is still going to be happening on Algorand.
Yeah, Algorand's still the foundation, and then the hub, as we'll say, better word. Okay, so that's gonna be good. So is the launch live now, and what's the best way to
Yeah,
get?
sorry, go ahead.
No, you good. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, so what's the best way to get access to the ERC20 version of Gora, and what's a good wallet people could be using?
Yeah, so I think MetaMask is probably the most famous one. And we just launched on Uniswap yesterday. It was crazy. A lot of people thought it was a first time launch, but they didn't realize it was a whole hour. So we did, I think it was $700,000 in volume. But yeah, I think Uniswap V3 is where we launched on.
Okay, do y'all have a connection where can it be held in the Coinbase wallet?
I don't see why not. I think it's an ERC20, so literally the entire
Anywhere ETH's at,
Ethereum ecosystem it's gonna work. Yeah.
And one of the questions I guess I think I'd asked even when you guys made the big initial post and whatnot, what's your take on, now that you're on Ethereum with the ERC and the layer 2 scene, right? So obviously I've done a lot of digging and trying to research in Base and Optimism and the whole super chain idea. Obviously you got Arbitrum, you have Polygon. Is this a token? Are you guys interested in, this token on any layer 2s, or are you just mainly staying there on, Ethereum mainnet?
Yeah, so I mean, we weren't coming here prepared to drop that much alpha, but you're asking the right questions, right? Let me put it like this. I think first we have to focus on the layer 1s, right? Like Algorand. These layer 2s, ultimately, they do depend on Ethereum. Like if Ethereum goes down, every single layer 2 goes down, right? So we ultimately are starting on Ethereum. And once you launch on one chain like Ethereum, the cool thing about it is every other EVM chain, it's like a matter of an hour or two to kind of replicate it. And so really, once we get our foothold on Ethereum, there is a massive issue with Ethereum, and that's the gas fees. And we've seen people will interact with things, and they will still pay the gas fees begrudgingly, but ultimately, any sort of business enterprise level applications are looking at it only for something like that takes 1 or 2 transactions, like tokenize something, right? Ultimately, it's these layer 2s where people are going to end up really building that high throughput application. So ultimately, we want to be where the protocols are. We want to grow, and so it's sort of our next on our roadmap is to expand to the layer 2s.
Yeah. And obviously I'll say this, I very quickly left Ethereum when, I first got into it and found Algorand because of the, the fees and the slowness and everything like that. I will say though, Base and some of these layer 2s have definitely, with the cheap fees, with the a lot faster, transaction times and things like that, it is attracting, and it does have the liquidity. So I think it's wise to definitely tap into those markets, because things like Base, with Coinbase continuing to grow as a company and fees that they're generating off of their layer 2s, it's going to be a crazy year once people start to, I think, really see the kind of money that can be made in some of these networks.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. And the cool thing is, first, you go to Ethereum, the gas fees are high, but once people from those chains try Algorand, because maybe they want to get the Gora before it launches, or they want to stake, the feedback has been unanimous. Like, how does not more people know about this, right? Like 60% of our token holders are from other chains. They're native to Algorand, right? So we get that a lot. I think, and you look at Ethereum, it's still the big dog, right? Even these layer 2s are not necessarily eating its lunch yet. So we still see that first mover advantage is powerful. But I think 5 years from now, when people are less concerned about what chain it's on, because there's going to be like a lot of protocols and things that just abstract away the chain behind it, so you don't even realize it, then people will not care about the chain. They will actually go for technical superiority.
I think so too. And I think we even saw it, I've seen the image floating around of OKX's, their little research that they did on transactions for all chains, leaving Algorand out, even though Algorand had a lot of transactions in Q1 and, kind of just got left off the board. I think that's still why we see many people not really knowing what's going on with Algorand, is just because there's not a lot of, good reporting, I guess, or good, people out here doing all the due diligence on all the layer 1 chains in the in the space. I would be interested to know, with this launch as well, because I still think that Gora is one of the best tokens when it comes to getting that exposure on centralized exchanges. Where do you guys see yourself now with this move to EVM? Maybe seeing a Coinbase listing or something like that.
Yeah, so with exchanges, we've been in conversations with almost all of them, right? And there's like the tier 1, Coinbase, Bybit, Binance. You got to get to a certain level of volume community, right? So we're not quite there yet. And then you have the tier 2s, and it's crazy. They ask for so much money to get listed. For us, it's like almost like, why don't we use that money to buy back, or why don't we use that money for marketing or something else? Really, the higher your volume, the lower the fees become. And so really, I think we have the option of listing on these exchanges, and we probably will list an exchange or two. But I think it will eventually come down to growing our volume, continuing to grow our community, doing that grassroots growth before we sort of do the exchanges. And really, I think you have to have a pre-existing strong community before you really go on these exchanges anyway. So Algorand has been amazing. I think we've really grown our community here. So we're excited for sort of the next step.
And kind of going right along with that, obviously, you talk about volume, right? That is a big issue with liquidity and volume, and just the ability to get that, to really into any token. But obviously, like I said, I think Gora is one of the bigger ones. How do you plan to actually tap into the liquidity on Ethereum with Gora?
Yeah, so we've seen, one of the things we've seen is people, they don't necessarily care about the chain you're on. We saw that with Gora when so many people came to run nodes. They didn't care that we were on Algorand. They wanted to use it. So ultimately, I think we will see people come, and the biggest thing that incentivizes people is staking, running nodes and staking. As many people are here just to get rich on meme coins, there's also the same amount of people understand that there's the gambles and then there's the blue chips. You want to run nodes, you want to earn yield, you want to actually contribute to the ecosystem, and you can't really run nodes for Ethereum anymore. It's just too big. Cosmos, a lot of these node running, you're not helping. But with Gora, it's still young. You're literally contributing a lot to the network by running a node. And so that's what we see a lot of people excited about, that ability to run nodes.
Nice. So let's move a little forward. You have a big merger that is happening. Can we talk about and break down the RociFi merger and what that means for Gora and the rest of y'all ecosystem?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, and I got my little girl here, so
Yeah.
So I think what we'll see is, and maybe you guys can have Chris on. Chris is sort of the CEO of RociFi, and they're a credit oracle. So they aggregate every single, for every account, they aggregate thousands of data points, their entire history, where it's been, things like that. And so we'll when we merge with them, we immediately got access to this Ethereum ecosystem that they've been building, their customers, their clients. And so it's made our expansion into ETH 10 times easier, right? We've already inherited some of their customers. There is a hackathon with Giza, machine learning AI, where they're using RociFi data, and that's going on right now. So a lot of these exciting developments are happening because of that merger. And so I would strongly suggest maybe in one of these next future shows, let's get Chris, who's the founder of Roci now, here with us at Gora to come on, and he's really good at DeFi, and that's sort of our DeFi strategy. Our DeFi strategy wasn't that great on Algorand, but with the merger, that just puts us 10 times further than we would have been in terms of DeFi and growth. So we're going to Ethereum with people who are experienced in Ethereum, with customers who are already there.
Yeah, that's some great way to do it. A pre-existing project that's already there, business that's already building. So when you're talking about DeFi risk, is it anything related with credit scores? I know we'll eventually get Chris on for sure, but like credit scores, DeFi credit scores, can you give a little bit more on that?
Exactly, on-chain credit scores, right? So has this account transacted with a lot of good lending protocols? Have they ever been liquidated? Do they repay a lot? Are they high value? Is this worth targeting, right? And so right now they do it for Ethereum, but soon, another alpha here, we're going to be able to do your Algorand history, where your Algorand wallet, how it's been. If it's high value, maybe now a folks finance can do something like allow you to lend with higher rates or lower collateral. Instead of 150 collateral, maybe you can do 90% collateral, so under collateralized. Because you have such a long history, and so that's sort of the idea behind that. And not just that, but how with airdrop farming you have all these sort of just 90% are bots or just people who are farming that don't care about your project. Now you can actually target specific wallets that have that history that you want. You can give them bigger rewards and say, hey, if you have a history, you've been transacting, you're a degen, we want you, we're going to reward you even higher. Whereas if you're a bot who's just opened an account, don't bother. So it's so much cool things we can do there.
Yeah, that's definitely putting in a way where you're making sure you're a person for sure.
Yeah.
It's also got me thinking, man, you talk about they're gonna be able to put your address in, click a button, and see all this crazy stuff you did. It does make you think, what, with these on-chain credit scores, I might need to create some new wallets and do some more smart things with them instead of all the degen stuff I've been doing.
Yeah, right. It's cool to have that history of how degen you've been.
And I do think there's a benefit to it. You know, I will say this: I'm on Base, and I've been minting every single NFT, right? That you know, the Coinbase wallet or Base itself has put out. And most of them, you know, they're not like aesthetically pleasing, and they don't have any value. Like you're not going to flip them in 10x. But I do think that, you know what, at some point in Base's future, I guarantee you they're going to look back and they're going to plug it in and say, hey, whoever's the holder of all these NFTs that we put out over the past 2-3 years, I don't know if it'll be an airdrop. I don't know if it'd be some reward, but there is a way in which that can be done, right? So even say someone starts out and they're dropping their content or whatever NFTs, their creation, and people are collecting them. It's like it is easy enough that, hey, if someone collected all of them, right? It's almost like Pokemon cards or something like that. If you collect them all, you're more valuable to the network than if someone who just came in and bought one and it's like, hey, where's my airdrop? Where's my handout?
Yeah.
So I do think that speaks a lot.
And with Roci, it's not just going to be valuable to Base. Now it's like this person, is always testing things. He's high value, right? So let's get him to join our community. Maybe he will like our product and become a regular user. So let's increase rewards and actually target them directly.
Yeah, that's pretty cool to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So, the AI ML contest you mentioned with Giza. So what is that for? The Ethereum developers or for Algorand? Can you expand on that part, the contest, and what's the reward there too?
Yeah, for sure. So they're giving out sort of, I think it's $3,000 reward for the best model using the RociFi data, which is now Gora, right? So take all that history, that credit history, and see what sort of AI or ML tools you can build with it. Can you predict where this person will go? Can you do something with this data in terms of increasing rewards? And so whoever can take this data and build the best model to give you the best insights, maybe it's just a Chat GPT plugin that says, hey, tell me the trades that the whales do that can help you. So those are the kinds of tools that people can build with this data. So hackathons are really cool in the sense that they allow you to get more developers doing extra things with your data that were not being done before.
Yeah, it seems like y'all definitely are participating in hackathons. You're doing a lot of coaching and things and what.
The Algorand one's coming up too.
Yeah, that's huge. Okay, so yeah, I know we got to get you out of here very soon. Let's touch on a couple more things there. Can you speak on a little bit more on your relationship with Algorand? And we know you got the cross-chain Launchpad coming out and the breakdown of RociFi.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about the projects we're in talk with, who are going to do on the Launchpad, right? We've got some really cool projects coming. I can't talk about them just yet, but you're going to hear about them in our upcoming Gora casts. You can transfer Gora across Ethereum. So I mentioned we're our own Oracle, we're our own bridge. So you can use us to transfer Gora. And then you can also do things like swap algo for Ethereum, where you swap the algo for Gora, we move the Gora across, and we give you Ethereum. So some cool things there. And now also being able to stake. So the staking platform is going to move under GoraFi. So now Ethereum token holders can also contribute to Algorand node running. So that's sort of the first step.
Okay.
And it just, as a B2B product, Oracles are business to business. We're like, how do we engage the community? How do we build cool products that first primarily we're using our own Oracle, and then secondarily we're engaging the community in cool products that maybe people want. Because one of the biggest things people who come to Algorand, they say, hey, where's all the protocols? They use the folks finances, and then they start to be like, okay, what else can I do here? Right? Gora is cool. I'm staking on Gora. I've tried folks finance. I've tried some of these NFT projects, but what other degen stuff can I do? So hopefully this just adds to what you can do on Algorand and add more utility for the Gora token.
Yeah, it makes sense, because definitely Gora is in good position right now. Because when I first also got on crypto as well, it was like, Ethereum. Then I learned about Chainlink. Now I was like, oh man, I start thinking of all the ideas here. But again, as we talked about, the fees and things like that led me to finding Algorand, and now we're here. And then we have Gora now bridging the gap from Algorand to ETH back and forth, and then finishing out on Algorand. I think that's a genius play right there. Kudos.
Yeah. It's still going to be our hub. We're not. It's still a lot of our you don't get the transaction don't get cheaper than Algorand. So a lot of the things we're going to be doing is still happening. We launched on ETH. We saw that's where when I say liquidity is there, in just a few hours, there's like $700,000 worth of volume on the Gora token. You don't see those numbers on the top 3 Algorand. So that just goes to kind of show that there's a lot of opportunity to bring liquidity to Algorand. So we're excited for both, keeping both paths moving forward.
Most definitely. Well, Abdul, it's been great having you on. I know it's a short and quick one today, but we're really appreciative of you, Gora, and the rest of the team over there.
Yes, and for the audience, it's short because I've got like 2 children under 2, so they're literally around me here. So you see me peeking down.
Y'all can hear them too.
You can hear them too. But I also want to give a shout out to the Next Block. I think it's been over a year I've been coming on this show, and you guys have grown. The community has, shown their appreciation through the XGovs and really, the quality of guests that you guys bring on. It's just amazing. So I'm super happy to see how you guys have grown too, and I look forward to not just coming back on the show and having Chris on, but
yeah, we got a lot of things, a lot of cool things coming for this year and beyond. So the next block's going to evolve just like most things have, and obviously we're appreciative of Abdul and Gora for being one of our sponsors. So big shout out, and again, thanks so much for coming on. Even with having 2 kids there.
My pleasure. Say hi to your kid. I know he's around my son.
Yeah, he's asleep right now. Thankfully, I hope he naps for another hour and a half.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, man. Awesome, all right, bye.
Peace, Abdul.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Yeah, that was good. Happy to have Abdul on. Seems like Gora is cooking. They in the kitchen right now, y'all. Yeah. Shout out to all the devs over there.
Yeah, I will say, and I feel like I've said this the past 3 or 4 shows is can't wait to become a dad. Heck yeah, it's a great thing. I will say, I was telling Siwa before, you got to be real with it, right? I've been a stay-at-home dad because obviously, my show and what I do in crypto allows me to do that for 2 years, and I'm done. I gotta get out. I gotta go get a job. Crypto ain't even gonna be bad, and I'm out here. I'm applying at coffee shops and stuff. Everybody probably thought that was a joke. No, I applied. Anyways, I love my son, but he is there's only so much before you're just like you want to talk to real humans, right? You want to and Twitter ain't enough. But anyways, going back. Shit, I lost my whole train of thought with that comment. I know we were. I know.
Shout out to Relax and Sleep. Can't wait to become a dad for sure.
Yeah. What were you saying there? I know. I picked it up. But anyways, it's going back. To the past 3 or 4 episodes is just saying that Gora is one of the ASAs that shows the best promise for a long-term, hold and growth. And like what he was saying, right? You want to find these networks that you can get in and you can stake early, and I'm talking early on before the masses get there. I think Gora still stands to be one of those. I mean, I'll even say this: one of the ones I was calling on base that not many people were maybe taking my advice was Aerodrome. You could have been buying Aerodrome for 3 or 4 cents and staking it, earning crazy yield.
That'd have been crazy when it ran up too.
And it ran all the way to $2. I mean, imagine the value you made through staking plus the value you made just through the X multiples. And the thing is, I still think Velodrome hasn't even ran really at all compared to what Aerodrome did. But like I said, finding those projects that have good utility, actually will be used, and you can you can buy the token cheap early. You can stake it to earn a good yield. I think I can't remember the exact nodes that I'm putting mine to, but they only take 2 to 5% commission out of the reward. So I mean, hey, I've been earning a decent amount of Gora over the past 6-8 months of staking, and guess what? I'm going to continue earning that all the way until it's something that it'll become the next Chainlink, right? It'll I
think so. Gora, Pife, Chainlink, they got all them out there. Each ecosystem essentially needs a giant oracle, and Gora is the one. We always, I love the rebrand. I love the colors. People sometimes talk about, I seen that a couple tweets about should Algorand change its logo. put a little bit, pizzazz on there, maybe. But Gora has a fire looking logo. I love it. That's why I wore green today.
Yeah.
Be honest.
I mean, hey, I was about to say I got a green arrow over here, but
Yeah,
it's that's all the green I got on me right now.
Yeah.
But no,
So let's take our commercial break, dive in a little bit more. But let's get to our commercial break real quick, and then we'll get back to it. Let's start with our Gora. Again, big shout out to Gora. That was a Gora commercial right there, and also Exit Market. And then one more shout out to Non-Fungible Domains there. You see them all at the below. Make sure y'all check them out. But yes, real world assets, Gora, oracles, that's the name of the game right now. And again, if you are, want to learn more about Algorand, this is definitely a project that I would visit first. And it's been, like we talked about earlier, price wise or coin wise, token wise, it has been going crazy. That's been getting a lot of people tweeting about it and charting.
Yeah. And like I said, I still think, just kind of going back, taking a step back, looking at the macro right now, where we're at in this cycle. Maybe I'm one of the only ones, but I know I'm not one of the only ones. I know there's a lot of bears out there right now that are thinking that this is a top, that Bitcoin's, not gonna get it back above all-time highs for a year, and you might as well just pack your bags up and wait. I am still on the the bandwagon, I guess you could say, that this bull market structure is going to look a lot more similar to the 2016, 2017 bull market. And if you go back to that one, right around the halving, and right around really when it first started getting to new all-time highs, it had I think it was a 40% correction. Bitcoin did
40%. Yep.
Now, the only thing I'll say about that is, and why I maybe don't expect a 40% correction in Bitcoin now, is because Bitcoin was a lot more, risky back then, right? The swings and the volatility, right? As it's matured, the bull market, corrections have, to an extent, gotten a little bit less, right? Because and that's just because I think more people understand the asset, they understand what it is, and stuff like that. So right now, I think we're sitting right around a 20%. It swept the lows, or at least the lows that it swept was right around 57,000. And that is, there is I don't know, I think it's the 100 EMA, but there is a line there in the sand that it has, tested and stayed above this entire bull market. And I think it had a successful test off that. Now, what we're seeing now will really tell us where we're going to be going, I think, in the coming months. Right now, Bitcoin's sitting at 59,130. Obviously, the support that it had before was that 60K level. It was holding strong. Now that is flipped to resistance. So really, over the next, I would say, to close out this week, I think the next weekly close will actually tell a lot. So by Sunday, is Bitcoin back above 60K, or is it, falling lower and testing and making lower lows. And I think that's going to really tell us where we're going in the short term. If this is a deeper correction, are we going to see a 30-40% style correction before we get to new all-time highs, and that's later in the year? Or are we about to get one of the biggest, bear traps, head fakes, and Bitcoin's about to rip to new all-time highs in the coming weeks in May? I do know at least
I'm banking on ripping. It's going to rip. Bitcoin, my faith in Bitcoin is strong, though.
Yeah, I mean, I would hope so as well. I've seen some bullish news and some catalysts and reasons why we could be seeing some, some good positive price action. But at the same time, I understand that, markets, corrections are healthy, right? We don't like it because we don't like seeing the unrealized profit and loss, go down, right? We don't want to see that number go down. But if you've not sold, then you're still waiting obviously for that, for those prices to go up. And at least we don't have to worry in the, United States now about, being taxed on unrealized gains and losses. So we can at least sit comfy in spot and we can wait out.
Be careful, that might be coming.
No way. If it does, I'm moving out of the United States. Bye. Like, I don't even care. Like,
we got to head to Puerto Rico or something.
Somewhere where
El Salvador.
Yeah, somewhere where Bitcoin and crypto is treated like the asset class it should be, which is way better than the current financial system we got. But anyways, like I was saying, I think that's kind of macro picture where we're at. We're just kind of in this in-between space. And, I'll say this, Algorand seems to be still holding up decent right now in the 17. I think it's still around 17, 18 cents. And I think if it can hold that higher high of, this current, bounce that it had, I would be bullish that maybe we could see, like I say, Bitcoin gets back to 70, 80K. I could easily see Algorand. And honestly, if Bitcoin does that, I could see this being the wave where alts really, really take off. And actually, let me show, I'll share my screen here for a moment. Because one thing that I've been watching, and I think many of us should be watching, because I think most people who follow our show are into altcoins. Let me go over here. But this is the Bitcoin dominance chart, right? Now, I get it. I could, drawing lines is always a funny thing because you can always just draw your line a little bit lower and maybe you're not out of this. But I'm going to zoom out on like the weekly time frame here. But right now, Bitcoin dominance is testing this lower band. Now, I will say there was a, when we had the really big rally that we kind of saw start, right? That was kind of the ascending triangle pattern, and Bitcoin fell out of it, came back up, bearish retest. And a lot of people were thinking, this is the altcoin rally. And we did get a decent one, right? In through here. But then obviously Bitcoin decided, you know what, I'm not done. I'm the star of the show. So now, like I say, we're sitting at another, like I say, you could bring it down. You could really draw these lines right there. Bitcoin is sitting again on this lower band right here. And obviously the last things to happen when it falls out of these bands is you get alt season. That's what these are right here. And a lot of people are hoping that we see that. Honestly, I'm not going to speculate where I think it's going, but this is a chart I am watching along with this one, which is the dollar. And obviously we zoom in here. I know I've got it marked up. Sorry if you hate where I've got it marked up, but we look at the daily. This was I think a nice little bull channel that the dollar was running through. It broke out. I was literally thinking, oh my gosh, we're about to see another one of these right here where it just pumps to 107, but it did fall out and it didn't only fall down, but it did kind of fall below, this lower band here. And like I say, we have had those moments where it's fell below and it's pumped right back up into it. We'll have to wait and see how the next couple weeks really play out to see where the dollar is going. I ultimately think even if we get a top of the dollar running to 107, I think by the end of the year, closer to elections and stuff, I think the dollar is going to easily be down below this line even. I think once we finally get a break, I think we're going to see a quick retest of this and possibly even down to these lows right here of lower between 90 and 100. So, and I think that's where we're really going to see the blow off top for Bitcoin, the blow off top for all of crypto. And I would even say, if you want to go look, I would say even the blow off top for the S&P and for stocks. I think a lot of people are expecting the next big let's get the next big support for stocks to be right around that 4,800 level, right? To kind of have the same similar A, B, C correction. Already got A. Now we're kind of working on maybe B, and then getting that C test before possibly going to new all-time highs. And that's the kind of, that's where I kind of see everything right now. I mean, obviously we'll have to kind of, wait. Like I said, the next couple weeks, May is going to be an interesting month nonetheless. But from a macro standpoint, that's where I kind of feel like we are. I'm still bullish. I'm still holding most of my alts. Obviously, I have tried to trade them, in and out to increase my bags, but I'm still pretty convinced that an alt season's coming.
Well, historically, add to a little technical analysis, April usually is a bullish month for equity stocks and whatnot. This month or this year, it wasn't, right? So, and they usually say go away in May. So it is a potential, but I'm thinking since April was so, beat down, we're going to have a good summer. That's what it looks like. We talked about this before the show, but interest rates are probably going to be flat, right? That's a sign that we're not about to get hikes. Jerome Powell's backing away from that type of language, and it looks like they're going to just draw things out. It's still in the election year. Historically, markets go up during an election year. We got a lot of stuff going on in the United States right now, so everyone would appreciate a market that is going up, so people can make some money, feel comfortable going into the winter.
Yeah, I still think, to me, it still seems like that May is going to be a choppy month. I don't really see May being a bullish month. I don't really see
not
it being,
bullish. No,
I don't really see it being a horrible bearish month. Like, I wouldn't be surprised at the end of May for the prices of everything to almost be exactly where they're at now. I honestly, I could see it, but there being a lot of volatility, maybe some highs, some things run off and pop. Some things,
trend
fall lower.
sideways market. Probably
Into the summer. I think, because honestly, and I'm obviously, most people know I'm really bullish on base. Their whole thing last year with on-chain summer, I minted some things, wasn't really all the rage, but they have a lot, way more momentum than they had last time, and they're going to do on-chain summer version 2 this year. And I think with the new embedded wallets, we've already seen. I was watching some videos from Luke from Moonwell team, and I shared them on my Twitter, and he was showing how they're going to be sponsoring gas. Like, I'm telling you guys, the normies that are going to be coming in, it's not going to be like when we came in 2021, paying expensive fees, getting pissed and slow and all this stuff that pushed everybody away and made them to where they couldn't figure it out and didn't want to deal with it. They're not going to have to remember seed phrases. They're not going to have to. Everything is going to literally be handed to them. And they're going to not have to pay fees because it's going to be sponsored. They're not going to it's going to happen instantaneous. Even if it doesn't actually happen on the chain instantaneous, it's going to happen from a user design a UX standpoint for them. It's going to be like, boom, you just staked your, whatever it is. You just did this. Like, they're going to make it so simple. And that's what's going to onboard so many people as this market vamps up. And what do I think is going to draw all the normies in? Same thing that's been drawing them in every single bull market, which is people making money. Like, liquidity is going to get pumped into the market. The government's going to do what they do best, which is literally print money and add, fuel to the fire per se. And that's going to suck everyone in. And so I still remain bullish. I think this summer to fall is going to be a good time, but I do worry that a lot of people, I think, are thinking that 2025, and beyond is going to be this massive bull market, and this thing's just going to last a full year plus. I don't know if I believe that. I think I'm leaning more towards we have a very good this year, 2024, and I think we're well into a bear market or correction in 2025, 2026. But time will tell. That's kind of where my thoughts are.
After the new president gets in, he's done what he has to do. You don't need a bull market right there. He needs to go fix all the problems of the last guy.
And there are a lot of problems, I don't really think politicians and presidents really even fix it. I think they always just make it worse, but in a different way. So I'm sure there'll be some things that get fixed, and then, it's a cycle, right? That we've been in forever. But nonetheless, that's kind of, I feel like that's all I really got to add on kind of where we're at. I don't know if you have anything you want to add.
Only thing I would say, make sure y'all hit that like button, go visit Gora, go check it out, tap into their validator nodes, go see what the ERC 20 token situation is like, and enjoy yourselves out here, y'all. And we will see you next week for another episode live show. Catch us on Thursday, 1 p.m. EST.
All right. See you guys.
Peace.